Hey everyone, my name is Wahid Lutfi. Welcome to my Web University free educational videos. Today I'm going to show you, or I'm going to use Windows 11 operating system and install VirtualBox on this new Windows operating system that I got. So let's get started to see what we have. As you can see, the interface is showing you the desktop version of Windows operating system. On the background, you can see the image of Windows 11. So I'm going to just type in here device manager. So once you type in device manager, you just see this icon, you click on it. And then the first thing that I'm going to look at the processor on the system to make sure that they send me the right processor. And it should be Intel Pentium, Intel i7 processor, and that it is 3.4 gigahertz. You can also get the memory information, all the other resources. So let's just show you from the command lines, same kind of information here about this PC. You can get all that from the system devices for clicking on the hard disk and everything else, but I could just look at it from the command line to see what I get here. Let me just make this screen bigger, and I'm gonna just size this one a little bit bigger so the font is a little bit more easier readable. So I'm gonna go with the size of 24, I believe. Might be just appropriate here. So here, clear the screen, and then I type in host name first. The host name is showing that I assigned algorithm. Algorithm comes after the name of Al-Khawarizm. Al-Khawarizm was the 7th century Persian mathematician that came with the idea of just carrying some finite sequence of steps in order to do some computation. And because his name was Muhammad bin Musa al-Khawarizm, later on and become the father of computer science. Now we know the word algorithm. Algorithm is taken from his name, Al-Khawarizm. So in honor of, to respect that Persian mathematician, I just named my computer algorithm the host name. So let's type in system info and then type more here. We're going to get all the resources for the system, but in order to get the detail of it, I could just get a look at each one of them, or I could just say system info and then do a find a string and then /i and then look for OS name, and then just look at that. This is just right in front of my eyes. I'm going to move it away from it so I can see that. So you can see the system information find a string command that I type in here. That one basically is the actual command to say that run the system information and pipe it to find a string /i and then get the OS name. Now we have the OS name, which is Microsoft Windows 11 Pro version. And then and the detail, the built version is also here. Notice that built version is 10.0, is based on OS version 10. So if you type in version or you type in CMD, you will get 10. Don't panic that, oh, they send me a Windows 10 version. No, this is Windows 10, but the built is OS name version is that. So that's okay. And then now clearing the screen again, running the same command, and instead of running system info, find string /i, this time instead of OS name, we're going to look for memory. For memory, I just have to type in that one, correct, system info, and then find a string /i, and then mem. So mem or memory, you could search it, and it will tell you that you have 32 gig, which is very good news for me because I want to do the entire VirtualBox of Ubuntu. I could install Red Hat, all of these VMs, Sun Solaris, all of them I could install. And then since the operating system I have 32 gig, and I'm not going to run all the VMs at the same time, I could just allocate instead of 8 gig, maybe 16 gig for each one. And then when I start one, I just don't start the other one. And so I can test the Windows operating system as well one of the VMs. So let's just run the system info. Another thing you could do is when you run the system info, you want to make sure that Hyper-V requirement is met before you install the VirtualBox. All this detail, as you can see here, it is already meeting the requirement. The VM monitor mod extension is enabled, virtualization enabled, is in firmware as yes, and all that things. So let's just go back to the browser now and get started with the VirtualBox. So I already opened on the virtualbox.org website. All you have to do is type in on the URL, https://www.virtualbox.org, and this page comes in. And this page is basically the original company that VirtualBox was written, was open source at the time, and it was freeware. And it is still free because Oracle owns it now, but it is also under Oracle. If you just go under the search here and then just say VirtualBox, for example, VirtualBox, then and the VirtualBox comes in here. You can see VirtualBox and then right here, Oracle VirtualBox, download Oracle VirtualBox. So if you want to download it that way, then you have to select the operating system. Do you want to do it in there? But I'm just going to use the original VirtualBox. This site is also always up to date, similar to Oracle. Whether you use the Oracle or VirtualBox, the same documentation is available because this VirtualBox is maintained by Oracle also. So I'm going to click on the download page here on the left side. As you can see, they have it for all kind of operating system for Windows, Mac OS X, and then Linux distribution, Solaris host, and everything. So what you're doing here, you're just downloading the VirtualBox, which is like a hypervisor equivalent for VMware. You're downloading the VirtualBox software in order to make it as a host operating system, your Windows in this case, in my example, and then the Windows is gonna allow other guest operating system, whether it's gonna be Solaris, Mac, or Linux, or anything, Solaris, Linux, Ubuntu, and everything, including another version of Windows we can also do. That's what VM or virtual machine means. That this software allows you to create multiple virtual machines. So by running this Windows operating system as a host operating system, you can have many virtual machine, and if each of the virtual machine are going to be virtual, it's not physical machine. The host operating system is a physical machine that is actually hardware running some resources, CPU, memory, everything, but then you're going to host those virtual machine. So you give them enough allocated amount of CPU and memory, and then you start using them as a virtual box or virtual memory or virtual machine. So here I'm going to download the VirtualBox for Windows, and then once you see that it is downloading the 7.0.6, last time I did was on another version, maybe it was on Ubuntu or something. I believe it was version 6 point something. So let's just get this version 7. Now it's downloaded. You can also go on the file manager here and just go under the downloads directory. And then right here, the VirtualBox, the one that I had previously downloaded it. So I'm going to just delete that one. I don't need to a copy of it. The one that I need is this one, VirtualBox 7, this. Actually, let's just delete both of them. I'm going to start fresh here. And right here is the delete button here. I'm gonna just click delete. And then right here, if I just click one more time, this time I'm not gonna get the version number 1 because I only have no other copies. These other ones are deleted. So right here, you can see it is coming, but it is going to finish. This one now, it's just done here. So now I have the version available. I'm gonna just double click on it to run it. And it's gonna just prompt me, say, do you trust this one? I say, yes, I do. So I could continue the installation. But at this time, it just says that I need Microsoft Visual C++ 2019 in order to just continue with VirtualBox. So in order to do that one, I'm going to just go ahead on this other screen here and look for Microsoft Visual C++ version. So let's get google.com here, and I'm gonna say search for Microsoft Microsoft Visual C++ redistributable, and then when I click on the first one that comes out, latest support Visual C++, and as you can see here, there's a different version of it, and then the one that I need is x64. Why do I need x64? Let me show you why. Right here, if I clear my screen here, that clear screen here, and then that system info, and instead of this one, I type in the model. I could search for my processor model, and then you can see it is an Intel 64-bit family. So that's how you know that which operating system family you have. Also on the device manager, when we were doing device manager, you could have also checked it for the Intel processor 64. Let me show you that one as well. So on the device manager, you click on the device manager, and then under the processor, right here you can see that is this one is not showing exactly 64 there, but if you look at the properties, most likely somewhere it will say that it is 64-bit operating system. Okay, and then the fact that we find it from the command line, that's good enough, and we know that that is our processor. So I'm going to download this one. And then since it's downloaded, I'm going to just install it. It's going to just prompt me for it to say that, do you agree? I say, yes, I agree, install it. Now it is installed. I'm going to have to click on yes, and then it will be installed. So then this one now, this requirement is going to be met after this. Go ahead, do it. And I'm going to close it. This one is done now. Let's go back to the virtual machine here. And then this virtual machine already say that, okay, this process completed successfully, but the installation failed due to that error. Let me just rerun it now since we installed the VirtualBox. Microsoft Visual Studio, Visual C++. And now it's prompting us with the right path information, which is hard to read because it's very small, but it is telling me that it's going to install under program files, Oracle VirtualBox, which is fine. I'm going to just say yes. Warning, network interface, install VirtualBox. Network interface will reset your network. That's fine. It should not reset it in terms of like making my connection drop, so I don't have a recording, but this should be okay. Install Oracle Virtual Machine, and then 7.x. Go ahead, finish it, and now it is doing the installation here, and it's already completed, as you can see here. And then this screen comes in as a result of the activity that I'm doing here. So that is right here, and this VirtualBox is actually available now here. So at this time, I could just click on a new and then create a new VirtualBox, which I'm going to do. And I'm gonna do, give the Linux Ubuntu, Linux underscore Ubuntu. So Linux Ubuntu, notice that it creates under the virtual machine, this one. The image ISO is not yet selected because I haven't downloaded. So I'm gonna go here and say, download ubuntu.com, and then I'm gonna go ahead on the download page and then just get this 22.04 long-term support, which is a Ubuntu desktop. So I'm gonna get that one. And that one is right now coming as an ISO image, which is in my download directory. So it is a little bit time consuming to get everything. It says about 11 minutes or 12 minutes. I'm not gonna wait that long. So I'm gonna pause the video and then we come back to it. And we just make sure that we point to it and start installing it. So at this time, I'm gonna pause the video. So now the ISO image for Ubuntu has been downloaded. It is 22.04.2 and MD64 processor. So let me just go to this VirtualBox here. And then all we have to do is select the image because we're pointing to that one. So I'm gonna go to the directory downloads here, and then look at the AMD 64 Ubuntu version here. Select that one and the ISO image. Once you select the ISO image, then you're all set for the rest of them. You just click next here, and then the username here, it says VirtualBox user. I could call it VirtualBox user, that's okay, but I want to just assign it to my name itself. So I'm going to call it Wahid here, lowercase Wahid, or start with double case Wahid, doesn't matter. So let's start it. Case sensitivity is important, so I'm going to start it with Wahid as my first name. And then I'm going to give it a password here. And the password has to be strong, and it has to be at least 8 characters long, a combination of lowercase and uppercase numbers, and then some special characters. So here we are typing the Linux host name, Linux Ubuntu, the host name. That's fine. If I want to just call that one also algorithm, I could call it algorithm as well. But I just want to keep that one to Linux. That's fine. Linux Ubuntu. And actually, I'm going to just call that one for short my web uni, or my web university. My web uni. I think that's good there. My web uni is the host name. Let's just call it my web. My web university. That is short enough to do it. Just call it my web u for abbreviation for my web university. And then the domain name is called my gastvirtualbox.org, and then I'm not gonna have that one because it just assign a domain name, and then the domain name, if it is picking up for you, you could just leave it, but I'm gonna just call it a different name, or just leave it for now, the same name. You know, if you have a domain name like mywebuniversity.com, you could assign it, or gpl.nasa.gov, or google.com. Obviously, you will assign it to that one. But since it's a local machine, the domain name is just arbitrary. It's selected for me. I'm going to just leave it for now that it's there, and later on we can change it. My guest underscore virtualbox.org, which is kind of like one of the guests let's just leave it with a C and compare it there. No, actually it doesn't make sense. I'm gonna just call it mywebuniversity.com. Is that's for this domain. This is host name and this is the domain name that I have. I have the DNS names and everything, but I'm going to just use this one as the domain name there. No, let's just call it my web university. That's good enough, not the full qualified, because if I fully qualified, it's gonna just find that IP address and it's gonna just say it is tied to that one. Install in the background. Yeah, we can just do this one if you want to install it in the background, but I'm gonna just let it run. This one, it says how much memory you need to allocate. By default is 2 gig. I'm going to increase that one to 16 gig. So I'm going to just go about 16 times 1024. So if I just open a calculator here that is on Microsoft, so you can type in calc and then multiply a simple things is 1024 times 16, and that's 16,384. 16,384, I'm gonna just type in 16,384 megabyte. That's like a 16 gig, as you can see here. It is taking about 16 gig there. So the 32 gig is all together, and then I'm allocating about half of it there. So the number of processor, there's 8 core and 8 CPUs, as we saw it. So it's only taking one. Let me just allocate 4 of them, just at least 4 processor here. So we are allocating 4 of the 8 just to see how the performance is gonna do it, and then later on we could check the number of processing and all that detail with commands. So next, and then the disk space here, I'm going to allocate about 100 gig, because that's pretty good for 2 terabyte storage that I have. 100 gig is fine, only not even 1%, it's 0.5%. So here, full size, 4 terabyte, and then everything else we will just keep the default. We're gonna say next, and then we just say finish. And I could also go back to the setting to see what I have allocated here. Okay, so somehow it is doing the starting reload setting. Let me just click on this. So I go the setting, reload setting here. This one is in the process of doing it, but I think the system I allocated about 16 gig. The processors, 4 of them. So that is good, and then acceleration is fine. Display is okay, the display is 16 meg, and then the storage, and I'll come back to all of these ones. Audio and everything, network is not a network address translation. At some point, I can just always reset it to a different value. Notice that this one is actually showing the VirtualBox kind of things. So I'm gonna click on show, and then this will just show the process of just getting the keyboard and stuff. So let me just check on this one, mouse integration. I'm gonna say auto capture keyboard. Okay, so here, who are you? It's basically going through the installation. So this first checking username is Wahid, my web university, pick a username I already picked, and the password, I'm going to just type it again here. and then confirm the password. We're not using Active Directory, so we're gonna move this cursor up here. Okay, and then this part is in progress. Control. Password do not match. I thought that I typed it correctly. Let me retype it. The first time I didn't type it correctly. And password is checked here. See the so here I'm going to right click on the task manager, check on the task manager to see if we're running a process or not. Microsoft Management Console, I don't need that one, so I'm going to end that process. Microsoft Edge is fine, Task Manager is fine, VirtualBox Manager, and then this one is virtual machine also that is running. You can see the CPU and memory, everything that is getting loaded. And at this time it is basically trying to do the installation. As you can see on this window, let me go on the view and then say full screen mode. See if I could get a better screen on this one. This one should not come up here. Installation. Require my password to log in. Confirm your password. Okay, as you can see, one issue is that we say require password to log in, but this continue button was very tiny. It was like blocked there. So this now doing the installation and is going through these steps that is going to perform. Welcome to Ubuntu. And then here you can see that it is happening, the installation. It's retrieving all the packages, and it will just use the Debian package manager to install them, and then apt install and apt-get and all those ones, including the snap stuff afterward. But right here, you can see that what are the some of the features that are coming. So the snaps, by default, it comes with Firefox and some other ones, and you can use the snap package manager to just install Chromium and other ones as well, and like PyCharm and a lot of other software you can add on. And you can always use the apt install to do the repository using advanced packaging tool called APT. But this one is right now doing the DPKG, Debian package, and then I will install apt and also snap, and then it will install other additional software. And the code name is Jammy Jellyfish 422.04, and this is what this is. So the code name is Jammy Jellyfish. And it comes with Microsoft Office version for it, not like the Microsoft Office version, but it's called something like I forgot the actual name. Let me just see. LibreOffice. It comes with LibreOffice and it has it's freeware, like open source. So you can use like LibreOffice here, LibreOffice Writer, and then Calc for like Excel kind of things, and then LibreOffice Impress is for kind of PowerPoint presentations. So right now it is doing the installation. Once the installation is finished, then we just have the Linux Ubuntu, and then we can do a software update. And then next time I'll show you on the actual operating system and how to use the operating system version of Linux 22.04 long-term support. I believe this one is going to go through a few more buttons, but after that one is just clicking and accepting the network and setting your network setting, and then get the login. I am not gonna record everything here because the video is gonna get too long for no reason. You're all going to have a different kind of resources in terms of use CPU and memory and everything. So based on that one, thanks for watching and enjoy your day. And then just if you have any question on what was your issue, or if you didn't have an issue, enjoy it. And if you did have an issue, just write a kind of a note on the comment section of this page when I post it on this video. Take care. God bless you all.